morning, welcome and very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Today was the first day of our summer school, which is going to last for 25 days. I hope all of you had a very good beginning. And now we will have the formal keynote address of the inaugural ceremony of our summer school. And we are honored by the presence of Shri Devi Prasad IES and also other dignitaries who are here. Mr. Anish P. Rajan, Assistant Commissioner, Customs and Central Excise. And also we have Professor K.C. Abraham, our Academic Director. And I got a warm welcome to all of you. So to begin with, Sir has been very kind enough to take time off from his busy schedule to be with us this evening. He's Shri Devi Prasad IES has been the Director of Fiscal Policy Institute and Head of Fiscal Policy Analysis Cell, which is supported by the Finance Department, Government of Karnataka. First working at the rank of Joint Secretary to the Government of India. And he was instrumental in setting up Fiscal Policy Institute in 2008, and since 2008 he has been working as a director. His educational career is illustrious and spans over 3 decades, as I would say. He has studied at many renowned universities, both in India and abroad. Osmania, and as an alumni of Jawaharlal Nehru University, I'm also proud to say that Sir has studied at the JNU, and his last degree coming from George Mason University School of Public Policy. His career has spanned over ministries and institutions engaged in social sector development, urban development, regulation of capital market and commodity market, trade and commerce. And he has delivered lectures at many prominent institutions both in India and abroad. Looking at his educational career, he has an MPhil in public administration. He has done his LLB and he has done his bachelor's and master's in economics. At the JNU, he was at the Center for Studies in Regional Development. And also, he studied at the Center for Development Studies, where some of our faculty members would be teaching us in the coming days. And International Institute of Population Studies at Govt in Bombay. And before beginning his career, he worked as a lecturer at the Bombay University. So we have got the right person to deliver the keynote address for us today, and he will be talking on the role of public policy in better governance from his own experience. I welcome you to this for this evening, and I hand over you to take over the proceedings. Thank you.
Talking to some of the colleagues for a cup of tea there. My question to them was, how old or what was your age when there was migration from USSR to Russia and your own country? So one was 7 years old, one was 4 years old, one was 4 plus. I asked that question with purpose. Purpose was when you migrated from any civilization migrates from a controlled, administered economy to a free market economy, what kind of transformation problems you have faced and you handled? You've been part of it. You have experienced. You understand better. So that few minutes interaction gave me a lot, and I thought this is not required, and I'll draw from the experience. So if you permit me, how much time you are for entire conversation?
1 hour and last 15-20 minutes for Q&A.
Okay, 45 minutes. Of 45 minutes, how much time for each one to introduce? They have to introduce themselves, right?
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Introduction is over. Actually, my entire session is introduction. I asked a question to some of the young people like you in the year 2005. I went to a small place, my own place, where I studied, and I met teachers there, about 600 of them. I was there in 2005 because my father expired, so I've been the eldest. I had to remain there for 10-15 days. I used to visit the place every time, once a year, but never for more than a day. Never for more than a day. So that time I stayed for 12-13 days. The young people like you just asked me why I went to Erasmus. Okay, I went and I was talking to them. And they were very curious to know about World Bank, about IMF, World Bank loan, IMF conditionalities, where I was working at the time. Their curiosity is understandable. But instead I asked them a question, which I am asking you again. What do you think the role of government is in your life? Or what do you expect government to deliver? From the public policy perspective, what should government do for us? Hey, randomly, please.
Fulfill the basic needs of the people.
Please, sir.
Fulfill the basic needs of the people.
To
fulfill the basic needs of the people.
fulfill the basic needs of people. How many of you agree with that?
Protection of property, private property.
You agree with him and add this, right?
I think this is, I think, one of the basic needs of a human being is protection of property. Right?
Property. We don't have right to vote, right?
Lives of the Jews, so that they were not killed or beaten, robbed.
Yes. Protect life. Next.
Ensure rule of law.
Pardon?
Ensure rule of law.
Ensure rule of law.
Anything more? From public policy perspective, what do you think government should do?
This is somebody.
Last one you said, contract. What else? Some economic policy perspective, what do you?
Sound money system.
Efficient judiciary.
Efficient?
Judiciary.
Invest in infrastructure development.
Right?
Invest in infrastructure development.
Yes, Mr. Me. Infrastructure.
Invest in infrastructure development.
That was in Malaysia, autobahns, but yesterday they were fighting on the streets.
Yeah, it's not.
Right? Autobahns first came in Malaysia, right? In late 80s, early 90s.
Wrong answer.
Okay, can somebody connect all this and speak into one or two sentences?
Excuse me.
So the young teachers whom I was talking with, they constructed the sentence. So I just repeat the sentence. The basic economic function of government is to help people to increase their incomes all the times and protect value of that income all the times. I repeat again. Help people to increase their incomes and protect the value of that income. This is what the basic function of government. Protection of property. For instance, You have the BMW. The vehicle tires on a good road, you can drive for 30 to 40,000 kilometers. But if the road is not good, the life of the tire is reduced by half or 1/4. So the value of your property called tire is reduced because government did not provide for roads. Road is public. Or the municipality, local governments. We have streets, but there are no street lights. So when you are walking, you fall down, you get injured. Your life is threatened. You get injured, you may be immobilized, hospitalized, just because the street lights are not properly organized. And if food production, supply demand is not managed, prices shoot up. If prices shoot up, the income that you earn, value of that income erodes. Earlier you could have 3 meals a day, but with the increased prices increase by say 30%, you cannot have 3 meals a day, but you can have only 2.5 meals a day. So the value of that, your income is eroded because prices are not contained. For that, inflation, one of the instruments to contain inflation is interest rates. That's monetary. Or you earn in foreign exchange. But if exchange rates are not stable, the saving that you make in terms of foreign currency may go against you. Therefore, government policy is help to increase your incomes. Who are they? You are landowners, all landowners, if you're farmlands or non-farmlands, people working on the farm, people owning the farms, even forest, their incomes have to go up. That will go up when the fertility of the soil increases because agricultural land. Now, fertility of the soil goes up through various, first irrigation. Government providing for irrigation. Government providing for improved quality of seeds, crop management practices, fertilizer supply, all of them, and regulating the agriculture produce markets. All of them together ensure that incomes of landowners and people living on land are stabilized or increasing and never eroded. Second, labor. Actually, since they were teachers, were asking them how to explain it. Now, to get into the labor market, a person needs to have some skills. Those skills will come only through education. Therefore, government providing schooling facilities in long term results in labor quality, therefore labor incomes. And keeping that labor healthy, even before the child is born, government has to invest in the child care, prenatal care. That's a function of, though it appears to be a social function, but in long term it's gain economic function. And capital owners, who are capital owners, who have excess money today in their banks. Since they have excess money not because they have robbed somebody, but either they reduce their consumption or they are saving. So that saving, that sacrifice has to be rewarded in future. And that money they can save in local currency or in foreign currency. Exchange rate maintenance, interest rate maintenance. And capital markets management, stock markets, financial system. That is essential for any public policy. Then organizations, company law, partnership, contract management, all this together ensure prosperity to us, and thereafter it is shared well. So if I sum up, the core function of government is creating wealth and delivering wealth. That's it. Through every action, government has to help in creating wealth or deliver wealth. For this, government discharges the functions, productive functions and protective functions. And nothing happens in vacuum that requires money. Away from government gets money from taxes. And that's the problem. Well, there are two parts, one citizen and the state. Everywhere the citizen in any country wants to get more and more from government. I'm sure you also would like to get more and more from government. But they don't want to pay for that. They want to pay less and get more. The biggest challenge for government is how to give more to citizens, while appearing that they are not taking more from citizens. That's what the state grant is. While doing so, government also has obligations, special interests. There will be social groups or geographical entities, so interests are to be protected. So the entire policy focus is looking for special interests and cutting down short-sightedness. Suppose investment is made for balanced regional development or for particular social groups. How do we factor into public policy? Because how to give more to citizens is a part of policy. How to collect more from citizens is a part of policy. How do we do that? It is a tough task before any government. At this point I ask one question to any of you. You must have tried to change wherever you are, in the class, at home, in the neighborhood, at ward level, or in your community, or in the state, or in the organization, or in the government. How many of you try to bring out changes? Any change? Maybe closing this entry point and opening another entry point also could be a change. Yes, anyone? I will try to change the dress code. Simple example, within home. Or you might have changed the timing of your meetings.
You have to make an idea common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah, that idea became a common sense, the way then it is implemented usually. That's
How that idea of change is accepted?
through persuasion.
Persuasion. But always there is a resistance. People resist.
Of course.
Right. So there's a good book, Rhetoric of Reactions, by Shri. It's a part of public policy course at Harvard. Please try to read that book. The sum of that book is, for any reform, anywhere, people resist. Yeah, but I'm greater because my idea of the same thing came to me 10 years ago. But nothing can be done. It's a futile exercise. You'll be as frustrated as I am, keep quiet. So that's explained by futility thesis. The next one is jeopardy thesis. what this guy is saying is right, but if we go with that, I'll be doomed. My interest will be adversely affected. Then I start resisting it. So any reform will face resistance, which is true in any public policy. Every policy introduces some change intended to be good. There will be adverse consequences. Therefore, the biggest challenge for policy research and policy design is anticipating adverse consequences, unintended adverse consequences. We will be sure of intended consequences, but the adverse unintended consequences are large in number. We need to have, through research, our ability to foresee that and forestall the same. That is the first challenge for any public policy researcher, public policy practitioner, public policy designer. How do we do that? In policy issues, government has various roles. Government is a provider and government is an enabler. And government is an enabler because it helps in creating wealth. Government doesn't create wealth on its own, but it helps people to create wealth. And government is involved in delivering welfare. Now here the issue is that is the welfare delivery going to the right people, in the right amount, at the right time, at the right quantity, with the right consequences. For instance, education is to be free from unstructured time onwards. But is it really given free? The voucher system, which we were talking about just now. Were the vouchers used by right people? Or to what extent vouchers were abused by school management? It's possible everywhere. It's not that there's paradise and all great souls are living in itself. It's not doctrine. It's not heaven. And the government has disclosed entitlements. What's an entitlement? The human right or the rights of the child. If I can argue to extend that getting immunization is entitlement of an Indian child. Nobody can refuse immunization. Government has defined the public health policy, that every child born on the soil will get free immunization. Good intention. But how do you deliver, how do you ensure? A, where do you procure the vaccine from? How do you store? How do you transport? And until the point of administering vaccine to the kid, infant, how it's maintained its quality. And after administering, how do you monitor the consumption and mother's care? So that's a kind of public health entitlements. Providing, guaranteeing food at affordable prices for all. That's an entitlement. Empowerment. A preferred position in government through elections, special constituencies for legislators, or certain reservations in government jobs, or bank lending activities. These are used as the means for empowerment. Always the adverse, unintended consequences are the problem in policy. So when we are doing the research, we need to look for adverse consequences. I give an example. Some of the times adverse consequences also can crop up because of immaturity in writing the text. As government's public policy is communicated by converting the government intent into government orders. Now the orders are written in a language it can be any language. But if the language is grammatically incorrect, there are adverse consequences. I was dealing with land allotment in Delhi. If I read that government policy, about 5 sentences, the English language sentence is too long, and anybody who is familiar with reading will have to read it with a comma, that is the small pause. That's the length of the sentence. But the person who typed missed it. As a result, one reads entire sentence together. If you read entire sentence together, the price that has to be paid by the school is rupees 10,000. But if you write a comma and read it, the price to pay for that is 100 times of 10,000. It just carelessness in converting policy intent to correct text. Now, skills have to go that level, converting policy into intent, into policy, policy into communication. Sometimes I wonder, there are two people, or three, Alexander the Great and Ashoka the Great. Why?
So what's the question?
Yes, sir?
What's the question? I did not get.
Ashoka the Great and Alexander the Great. Why they were great?
Because they conquered.
Huh?
They were the conquerors and they were the great thieves.
They talk about either Ashoka or Alexander. Don't mix them. One is for welfare, one is for military.
Was a conqueror, the other was not a conqueror. He stopped conquering.
Renouncing benefits of conquest. Ashoka, he renounced. So why should they be called the great? I question myself. I'm not a historian, and I didn't try to study, but I question myself. Yes, sir.
Maybe because of the same thing that you are trying to point out, like how to convert the welfare schemes or converting welfare schemes to policies to communication.
I think
So
they
maybe
were-
they did it.
What's your name?
Huh?
What's your name?
Amit.
You are from?
Delhi.
From Delhi. So it is converting intent to policy, policy to action communication. There is no mix up in that. Nothing was missing in an entire chain. Right? Okay, you were saying something?
I want to say that he was a great strategist, but
Huh?
Alexander, I think the great was a great strategist. Wasn't that the question? Maybe I didn't get the question.
Why do we call Alexander the Great? What is so great about him?
I said that he was a strategist. Maybe that's what it is.
Could be. But when I ask that question myself, how could he motivate thousands of people? Yes.
I have another question. Why Chinggis Khan, which is called as Genghis Khan, is not called as great
Yes.
in his name?
Yes.
I mean, like, is there any difference between the Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan?
Yes, Genghis Khan the Great hero in Mongolia, everybody wears on their body like Mahatma Gandhi's, I don't hear and currency notes. But historians nowhere call Genghis Khan the Great, but all historians call Alexander the Great. All historians call Ashoka the Great. But if you want to extend the debate, I am not the right person to handle that. Historians will handle that. But the given thing, how could Alexander motivate thousands of people to follow him and to die? They are definitely sure that they are going to die. Because no war comes without people dying. How could he communicate? And when there is no technology of the kind that we are having now, in the absence of technology, what incentives he has? How did he recruit army people? That's a market, labor market. From there he recruited people into his army. There was no navy, perhaps part of navy, but no air force at the time. what incentives, what wage policies, what dividends he has given to them so that they come in thousands and die for him. That is amazing. I can't find out. I tried to read so many books about that, but I can't find. And how did he organize training to them? And what kind of training curriculum he had imparted to them? How did he hire so many horses? And how did he carry so much fodder, cutting across different climatic zones? What are the veterinarians going with him along the army? How could he organize logistics? And how could he communicate across so many geographical boundaries? Come back to Ashoka. When I write something, maybe I may waste 2, 3, 4 pages. I write something, cut it out. Write something. After laptop or after computer came, that wastage of paper is reduced. But attempt to make the text better and better is much more easier. So we may make maybe 100 corrections to write 1,000 words. I wonder what Ashoka the Great, what is policy intent? He communicated to his team of deputies, and those deputies communicated to draftsmen, and the draftsmen came entire country traveled and started chiseling on the stones without mistakes. How? Further, what kind of classroom skills Ashoka might have taught and imparted? So just having policy intent was not converting policy and communicating it, then operations. The conquest is Alexander's operation. So a policy succeeds and have durable results only when we complete all the steps. That's the biggest challenge. Policy design, policy operation, and policy evaluation.